Hello and welcome, this is Eric from AD Racing Central. This video is an update about the racing games that I want to highlight that are currently on sale on the PSN Store up until the 7th of November 2024. This period's essential pick sale included a lot of games in general and a good number of racing games as well. We can find a plethora of realistic car racing games, and even though I'm sure there are some great deals to be made here, I will as always focus on futuristic and arcade racing experiences. Don't forget that if you're looking for racing games in particular on the PlayStation Store, you can always apply the driving/racing genre filter. Let's get started. Okay, I will mention one semi-realistic car game. Need for Speed Rivals carried on the legacy from the cops versus racers concept of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit in an open world setting. Even though it's not the best-selling game in the series, I personally have enjoyed the game quite a bit, as it's not in many games where we can impersonate a fictional reckless cop smashing an exotic race car into a bunch of illegal street racers. The campaign is divided into one for racer and one for cop, and there are numerous vehicles and also different weapons and abilities to unlock. The car's handles as you would expect from a Need for Speed game, and wreaking havoc while playing as a cop is definitely my favorite part about this game. If you're a fan of the Netflix show Fast and Furious Spy Racers, you have the spin-off racing game Rise of the Shifters available that allegedly is a decent experience featuring characters from the TV show. I also like to promote racing games with an actual story every chance I get. To continue the cartoon aspect of the sale, Cars 3 Driven to Win is also available. This title is relatively critically acclaimed and revolves around the third film in the series. It has the same pleasing aesthetic as the movies and some solid gameplay to accompany it, with several characters from the movies being playable in the game. To move on to a game that is more akin to what my channel is all about, we find the futuristic racing game Xenon Racer. This is a game with a setting that is relatively rare in the sense that it takes place in the future but doesn't feature sci-fi hovercrafts, but rather semi-realistic looking cars. The game controls in ways you would expect from an arcade car racer, and Xenon Racer actually features an energy reserve system that is derived from reality, in which kinetic energy is built up to then be used as a turbo. The game's strength lies in the colorful visual style alongside the multiple unlockable vehicles and a large amount of available customization. The motorcycle games available on the sale need a mention as well, because there are key aspects of racing on a motorcycle that you just don't find in other racing games. I'm talking about how you approach corners, as you need to take into account the time it takes to put your bike in the appropriate lean angle, which also affects how proactively you have to steer in the other direction when facing multiple corners in different directions. First-person view is of course always great for immersion in any racing game, but it's taken to the next level when you twist from side to side from inside a fictional motorcycle helmet. On the PSN side we find TT Isle of Man 3, based on the world's most dangerous real motorcycle racing event, and also Rims, that teaches you a lot about the mechanical aspects of a bike, as you have to manually replace any parts you've destroyed through different types of minigames. We did get a couple of pure anti-gravity racing games on this sale as well, and one of them was Flashout 3. This game is the first title available on consoles in the Flashout series, and it surely looks a bit like games we've seen before, but it does have more than one aspect that makes it stand out. The various tracks in the game and their locations on both Earth and the Moon are perhaps nothing we haven't seen before, but the art style stands out a bit when it comes to the ship design, with their neon-draped edgy look. Worth noting is also that each unlockable ship comes with several different variants that slightly tweaks the stats of the ship. There's also a heavy focus on combat, accompanied by a loadout system with quite a good selection of weapons and gadgets to choose from. Flashout 3 lacks a bit of polish when it comes to the gameplay, but it has enough going for it to be worth checking out. Another AD Racer that looked interesting was Hyper Turbo Boost. I bought it and tried it, and perhaps it wasn't quite as fun as it looked, as the sound design and gameplay feeling left a bit to be desired. A bit of a shame, as the game certainly looks great for an indie game and has several cool looking ships. Maybe like so many other games, it becomes more fun once you get into it, and it costs less than $3 as well, so Hyper Turbo Boost might still worth checking out. Also worth mentioning is Lego 2K Drive, which is just as it sounds, a Lego based racing game. The main gimmick is of course that you can build and design your own vehicles, and you can in theory use the instructions from your own Lego Speed Champion sets to race with the vehicles in the game. Lego 2K Drive includes 3 vehicle classes: street, off-road and water, and it also has a single player campaign to grind through. The game has received good reviews and should be a decent pick for any racing game fan who wants a more casual experience. Even though it isn't technically a racing game, Trials of the Blood Dragon deserves a spot on the list. The Trials concept is very addicting in general, and this game is a spin-off of the Far Cry series, where you play as 2 siblings who control various types of vehicles through trial-based side-scrolling levels, with a lot of spectacle going on both on the track and in the background. Like I mentioned before, it's great that we get the story, be it a willfully cheesy 80s style one, but the game in general is a solid experience. Gearshifters is perhaps not a racing game either, but it's one of those games that are really hard to put down. You drive with your upgradable cars through various desolate post-apocalyptic landscapes, while you smash rival gangs into bits with your weapons and unlockable abilities. The game has a shoot-'em-up feel to it, but they really nail it with the controls and collision detection, as the vehicles really have some weight to them. It's a lot of fun to grind out some cash and upgrade your vehicle with various types of elements of destruction, and Gearshifters has a severely reduced price on the sale as well. One of the more recognizable arcade racing games out there is Trackmania Turbo, and that game is also available on the sale. Trackmania Turbo has an invitingly colorful presentation with some realistic looking vehicles riding on not so realistic tracks. The whole concept of the game revolves around very short bursts of fun gameplay, usually on tracks with more than one extreme jump or other spectacle on them. It's hard to imagine the player not having a good time with this game or its track creator. If you want to watch a video about Phantom Spark that is a more mellow Trackmania-like experience, then click on this video. My plan is to be back in 2 weeks with another PSN Store update. Thank you for watching. I am Eric from Media Racing Central, and I'll see you in the next video.